Okay, hello, Ryan Carcass here again. You're the US player, so this is what your sheet's going to look like. Backside, going to look like that. Pretty simple. So, you're the US, you start off with a distinct disadvantage. I'm going to angle this down so we can show this sheet here. Alright, so, starting income is $6, unless you're doing the 39 scenario, but I'm not covering that right now. So your income is 6, your starting money is 6. Well, there's a chance it can go up, but it all depends on what the bad guys do, or the US's version of the bad guys. And when you reach 63, that's the total value of your territories. So you can go fighting people and picking fights and doing whatever you want to do. But you got to get to that point first. So this is going to be just, I've already covered most of these in the Japanese and the Italian and the German videos here, but the US cares more about what Japan does than anybody else. 5d12, 2d12, plus 5, plus 3, plus 1d6. It's all about the Japanese. So pay attention to what the Japanese are doing. Almost anything they do increases your money. And you can go walk over there and change your money increase right now. It's only going to change your income at the end of the next turn, but it's a handy thing to have. Then you got Germany. So Germany's at war with France. British Axis possess London. That's a big one. Might want to pay attention to see if that happens. Declares, these are less increases, but they still have some serious increases. Then you get a little bit of an aggressive Germany, an aggressive Japan, and the US can be a full income pretty much right away in the game. I've seen it happen. 1938, you're at full income. Just depends on what these guys do. Japan and Germany. So keep an eye on this. And if they do anything, don't forget, pick up your dice and roll it, or just move your income up, or whatever you got to do. You only get one bonus income, and you got to be at war, so you have to be at your full 63 to get it. And it's for control of the lower 48. Now, that's pretty basic, but just to basically cut this down, anything that's between Canada and Mexico and is not an island, that's it. So anything that connects to the capital, Washington, there. And then the same thing on this side, anything that's between Canada and Mexico. And yes, this is the same land zone as the Mexico on the other side. It's not two different ones. All right, so that is your one bonus, and unless I'm wrong here, that's your home country. Yeah, that is also your home country. So if you have possession of that, your home country, which is that, you get the you get your bonus $12, which brings you up to 75. Now, as your money increases, your ability to do things increases. So let's take a look at your income determined actions chart here. $15. If once you reach that, you may close the Panama Canal to the Axis, and you can start lend leasing to anybody who you can lend lease to by the rules. $35. You can start reinforcing the Pacific Islands, send units, build militia, bases, and fortifications. The Pacific Fleet may finally move as far as Hawaii or Sea Zone 68. U.S. ships may perform escort duty for Allied convoy lines in the Atlantic. Notice it's escort duty. You can't do any combat. And at $50, you may engage Germany in naval combat within 2 zones in the Atlantic. So, 2 zones. There we go. Land, U.S., obviously, the land. 1 zone, 2 zones. So, not very far from here through here. You may engage the Germans at $50. Once you reach 63, all holds are barred now. May declare war on any minor and certain major powers, depending on what the rules state, as in who's in your alliance. You might have to pay money. And U.S. may move ships between the Atlantic and the Pacific, so you got to reach full income before you can go through the Panama Canal. So there you go. That's what you do when you get money. So you start the game at peace with everybody. May not declare war until you reach your full wartime income. 63. Peacetime actions. Yeah, that's... So, may not move or build forces outside of its home country and adjacent sea zones until at war or as allowed by income level. So, unless you're at war, you can't have an American fleet sitting in the Mediterranean before you're at war. It's just not possible by the rules of the game. Monroe Doctrine, I got a video on that I'm going to be putting out. And alignment of the Pan American nations. Once you're at war with a major power, and I got another video on that. So surrender, the USA surrenders if Washington, D.C., not the state, Chicago, New York, and San Francisco are captured. So, Washington, the capital, that's the vibrant roundel, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. So all four of those have to be taken, and in order for you to surrender. And like everybody, when you surrender, every unit you have on the game is gone. You're out of the game, and you stay out of the game unless somebody, like everybody, liberates your capital for you, or one of your four places that could be your capital. Then you're back in the game, but you've already lost all your units, so, and possibly a lot of land at the same time. So be cognizant of that. Now, what else do I got on here for this chart? You are going to become a member of the Allies, but you aren't until you're at war with the same major power as the rest of the Allies. Until then, you are a neutral, and they may not put units on your land zones because that would be declaring war on you, and they can't do that. And you cannot reinforce the British or the French or the Chinese or the Australians or anybody else without declaring war on them unless you're at war with the same power that they're at war with. So, can't stack up London with American troops in anticipation of an alliance. All right, let's see, what else do we got here? Anything special? Lend lease. Like it says on the other side, you got to be at $15 a turn, and then you can lend lease. To anybody, basically, anybody who's any major or minor that's at war with a major power. You can declare war on any neutral, but you got to do that $10 allies penalty. And you can share the cost or make France pay. That's what I would typically do. Axis and their aligned miners, yes, once you're at full production. But you may not declare war on an Axis power that has not declared war on another nation during the game, including so if Germany and Italy have just been, building up, and they haven't attacked anything, only annexed, you cannot attack them. Same with Japan. The USSR may declare war on them only under certain conditions. One is USSR violates the Monroe Doctrine. The second one, USSR declares war on Great Britain or France, or Germany or Japan has surrendered. If either one of those has surrendered, then you can also declare war on the USSR. So, violates the Monroe Doctrine, attacks or declares war on another ally, or Germany or Japan has surrendered. Britain, France, Nationalist China, never can you declare war on them. Communist China, yes you can. Fiji, France, yes, if you are at war with Germany. So you have to be at war with Germany first. All right. Now, let's crank this up. These are your special abilities. They're not that great, but they're special. Alright, Neutrality Patrol. If Germany and Great Britain are at war, the U.S. may use its air and naval force to attack submarines within one of the U.S. coast. So, directly on the coast. Within one. That would be this spot here. Not here. That's too far away. That's two. Alright. Unless you've, reached that point where you can do that. Alright. Call to arms. At any point, if enemy land units attack the lower 48 or the home territory of the U.S., all regular infantry cost 2 the following turn. So you get $1 discount on regular infantry. Not mountains, not marines, not all that fancy stuff, just basic regular infantry. Alright. American Army National Guard mobilization. So this is during the first turn, the USA is at war with a major power. All land units cost -1 to purchase. So any land unit, so save money on a tank, mech, artillery, heavy tanks if you've researched the tech already, militia, infantry, marines, doesn't matter. Anything that walks or drives on the land, take it. And then there's this other weird one, the Canadian factory. So Great Britain may receive Lend-Lease money and equipment from the United States at the Canadian factory site, which is a major factory located in Ottawa. Let's zoom this out a bit here. You don't need that. Zoomed right in. So, major factory in Ottawa may receive Lend-Lease money and equipment from the U.S., and the Canadian factory may produce any unit on the U.S. player's sheet with the U.S. player's permission. So, that's kind of a weird one because it says any unit at all that's on the U.S. player's sheet. Now, technically, you can't build tech unless it's in your home country, but this may be a variation. Some of our players have argued that if the U.S. has the tech to build heavy armor or jet aircraft, that the British could build it at that Canadian factory. That's something you could house roll in there. I don't see a real problem with it because you still now have to transport it somewhere else. So it doesn't really help you too much. Maybe it gives you the opportunity to build a tech that you don't have. But it's almost like receiving it as Lend-Lease, since you got to build it that far away. All right, so that's the basic overview of the special abilities and how the U.S. works and where they get their money from, their money increases and all that fun stuff. Now, if you're not able to reach your full income, I had a die kicking around here somewhere. Anyway, if you're not able to reach your full wartime income, you get to roll one of these things starting in July 1939. So you have to pick one of these things up, and whatever it is, each turn you increase your income. On top, additionally to what all the Germans and Italians and whatnot are doing that may be increasing your incomes. All right, I'm going to go briefly over your victory objectives here. So the Monroe Doctrine, basically, I did that Monroe Doctrine video, but if there are no Axis or Soviet land units in the Western Hemisphere, and by Western Hemisphere they mean North, South America, and any attached islands, at the end of the game, and no land zone in the U.S. home country, so the lower 48 bonus, has been in possession of an enemy player during the game at any time. So that's a point there. Contain fascism. So basically at the end of the game, Germany and Italy are within their borders as of the start of the game, which whether it's 39 or 36 scenario, whatever they start with. Contain communism. There are less than 3 new nations or former colonies possessed by the Comintern at the end of the game. That's that's a key one. So those two are good reasons why if somebody violates the Monroe Doctrine, you may want to get in there and start beating people up, so you can take away these, or so you have a chance at gaining these two objectives. And Pacific security. If the U.S. ends the game with twice as many capital ships in the Pacific as Japan, and that all comes down to, let me get that out of the way, this build chart here, right? Through the game, if you want to get that point, you may have to keep pace on what the Japanese are doing and keep building up some capital warships, which would be either battleships or carriers, and keep moving them up. You don't have to place them, but you might want to have a stash here. I mean, it's a waste of money, but that's a victory point, and that could be the difference between a win and a loss. First and third place are sometimes only 2 points apart here. Okay, that's Pacific security. Maintain the empire. If at the end of the game you own everything you had at the start of the 36 scenario, so basically everything that's got a U.S. roundel on it on the map, you own it. And then tech superiority. Now, some of these tech aren't all that great, but I believe the whole purpose of this is that you have the best research out of everybody, and a lot of these techs are difficult to get. So we've got heavy bombers, jets, strategic rockets, and long-range aircraft. So let's rip ourselves over to the tech sheet. All right. So jets, you need an 8 or more, so that's above 50%. Heavy bombers, you need a 9 or more. Well, that's about 25% chance. Long-range aircraft, 50% chance. And strategic rockets, it's a 25% chance every time you spend $2 to get a 9, 10, 11, or 12. Right? So you need to have this one complete. Long-range complete. Heavy bombers and jets. Now, if you can get those 4 complete, you get a bonus. You get yourself that victory point. So the U.S. has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victory points it can gain, and one of them can be impossible to gain if somebody landed in your home territory and took away your ability to collect this wartime bonus income for any turns, or you had to take over some land to get it back. All right, so basic U.S. overview. Income starts low. You got to bring it up. Pay attention to what people do, because you got bonuses on here. And pay attention to the Monroe Doctrine here. Anybody breaks into South America, the islands, I'd say the Falklands too, possibly Bermuda and Greenland, or anywhere in North and South America. I would say those would be very bad things, and you might want to get a little excited if somebody's doing that, and maybe take it back, declare war on them, get in the war early if they give you the opportunity. And of course, home country is the only place you can build major factories, and also the only place that you may build tech. So there you go. And that's it for this. That's the U.S. overview and the special abilities. Ryan Kirkus here. I'm going to say see you later and have a great day. Bye.